We are taking a walk on the wild side this week on the Animal Rescuers.
The Animal Rescuers has been adopted by Pet Planet. There is nothing more important to us than your pet's health.
What you're about to see is not your average rescue. Let's go inside, meet Kim, and you'll see why. Hi Kim, it's a pleasure to be here at Southwest Conservation Center. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Well, welcome. We were started back in 1994 by one woman named Linda Searles, and this is actually her 10 acres. And it started because she came across a little coyote pup, a little orphan coyote pup that had lost its way and lost its family, and there was no place for that animal.
So this is how many acres did you say?
10 acres, and about half of it is for rehabilitation, so animals that are getting healthy, whether they've been hit by a car, or if they've been orphaned and they need our help being bottle fed and nursed back to health. Those animals will all go back in the wild, and then half of our place is a sanctuary. And basically a sanctuary is a place where animals can stay for the rest of their lives if they can't return to the wild. We specialize in native mammals, things as small as skunks and raccoons, all the way up to mountain lions, black bears, and Mexican gray wolves, one of the really special animals we care for that's a highly endangered animal. But anything in between, javelina, coyotes, bobcats. We're so lucky to live in a place where there's abundant wildlife, and we see a lot of it.
And what's your largest animal that you're housing to date?
Black bear. We probably have maybe a 300-pound black bear. That is our biggest.
Is he here now?
He is. Berry Bear. Yeah, he's one of our favorites. He's our sanctuary resident, and people get to see him on tours.
Most of them are here because of human contact, which is not good.
Unfortunately, a lot of times people have, good intentions, and that might mean if they find a baby in the wild, a baby bobcat, a baby coyote, the first instinct is to rescue this thing because they think that it's orphaned. That's actually not the right thing to do. The mom is there. She's out hunting. She's out trying to find food. So it's a common misconception that these baby animals need our help, but people scoop them up and they'll either bring them to us when the mom was in fact somewhere near, or they'll try to make them into pets, which is even worse because wild animals don't want to be our pets. They don't make good pets. And once they've been around people and in our homes, they can't go back in the wild. So they might be completely healthy, but now there's no chance for them to survive in the wild.
So the key would be if you see something running wild, please leave it.
Leave it alone. Wild animals want to be left alone. Every once in a while they do need our help. If you see an animal that's been hit by a car, you know that animal needs our help. And just to call us, and we're always here 24 hours a day. You can always get a hold of us.
So how do you get most of your animals here?
Concerned people will call us, and if an animal's injured or they think it's orphaned, it might need our help, and we'll go out and rescue them. We do get a lot of animals from Game and Fish. They'll bring us injured animals. U.S. Fish and Wildlife for a holding facility for the Mexican gray wolf. So really every story is different. Some animals are confiscated. People might have an illegal mountain lion that they're keeping as a pet, and so the police will knock on the door, find out they have this animal, and then it gets brought to us where it will live out its life. So every story is different, but most of them are human caused, unfortunately. We would like to be put out of business.
Bringing the animal here is great, but then once it's here, it needs to be fed. So what happens then?
As you can imagine, caring for over 100 animals, a lot of them really large animals, our food budget as well as our medical bills are very high. So donations, we are completely run by private donations. A few grants we get here and there to build enclosures, but for the food, the medicine, things like that, the animals need to survive. It's all private donations. So people can come for tours, that's how they can help support us. Or they can go to our website, they can adopt an animal, which doesn't mean you get to bring home a mountain lion or a coyote, but you're helping to support it from the comfort of your home, and that's every bit as important. And every single dollar counts, and it all adds up and helps us to keep our doors open for animals that need our help.
And also you have a large event coming up that people can help. Can you talk about that?
We do. We have our annual fundraiser coming up this Saturday, April 27th at Troon, and that's our big yearly event. We try to bring in a lot of people and a lot of good auction items to raise much needed funds, and people can still attend. They can get on our website and sign up, and if they can't, they're always welcome to make a donation. We always appreciate any donation, however big or small.
I'm getting antsy. I want to get in there and see these animals. Can we go?
Absolutely. Let me go grab my bucket of goodies.
Do you trust the food you feed? At Pet Planet, our commitment is to helping our customers navigate through the confusing world of pet food, reading ingredient panels, asking critical questions about manufacturing and ingredient quality. Our pets rely on us to make the very best decisions we can for their health, happiness, and longevity. Pet Planet is here as your partner in pet health because there's nothing more important to us than your pet's health.
Welcome back to the Animal Rescuers, adopted by Pet Planet.
We have 3 sanctuary mountain lions that live in this enclosure. We have 9 total that are in different enclosures. And Tocho was actually, let's see if I can get him to come over here, a mountain lion that was minding his own business in the wild with his mother, and the mother was shot and killed, and the people took him as a pet, put him in a dark shed, and fed him improper diet. He came to us, luckily he was confiscated, and if he hadn't been taken away when he was, he probably would have died. But he came to us as a cub with 3 broken legs, fractured pelvis, fractured ribs, all because he was fed an improper diet. He gets about 5 pounds of food every day. He gets health care, medical care when he needs it, so we try and spoil them as much as we can. We don't want to put him behind, an enclosure, but really we don't have a choice.
So if he was released back to the wild, what would happen?
Because he's lost that natural fear of people, he would run up right to the first person looking for something to eat. And that's, he's survived by people feeding him, so he wouldn't know how to be a wild mountain lion.
Oh, nice. So we're feeding this what?
These are coatis, and they're actually a native animal down in southeastern Arizona. They're related to raccoons, and there's 6 of them in here. All were people's pets illegally. And then the problem is in Arizona, it's not okay to have these animals, but if you go to some other state, it might be perfectly legal to have an exotic animal. So they don't want to be your pets. There's even one here that's declawed. So the people that, Sophie there doesn't have any claws.
And it's harder for them to get around without that.
That's right. They need them to climb, they need them to dig for food, so unfortunately they aren't going to grow back. There you go, bud.
Okay, well this food is not my delicacy, so let's move on.
Mousicles, yes.
Yeah, mousicles.
Next up we have some resident bobcats. We have 6 of them in here, 3 adults and 3 younger ones. And you can actually read about some of their stories on our website. Some of our resident animals, you can adopt them.
I never knew a bobcat was this small. I always envisioned them being a lot bigger.
They actually come in a variety of sizes. Bella here is older. She's going on 16 years old, and she has scoliosis, so she's a lot larger than an average bobcat. And then these 2 up front here are actually young ones. They're not even a year old.
Whoa!
So they're perfectly healthy, but people found them in the wild, thought that they were orphans when they probably weren't. Handled them a little too much, and then they lost that natural fear of people. And now because of that, you can see they have no fear of us. And that's not a good thing for wild animals. We want them to have that healthy respect and stay away from us.
So they're here for life then?
They are, and they can live upwards of 20 years. So that's 20 years where we're gonna have to care for these guys. It's a big commitment, but there'd be no other place really that they could go.
You're the main caretaker on property?
I'm one of the keepers. There's only a handful of paid staff, and then everybody else is a volunteer. And luckily, because we can put the money back into the animals and not have to pay a bunch of staff. This is a Gasho, and he is one of our black bears. We actually have 5 black bears. Yeah, if you can come over, you just want to stay a couple feet away from the fence.
Hi, beautiful.
Get him some peanut butter. So we have 5 non-releasable black bears, and usually what happens, people will start feeding bears in the wild, and once they associate people with food, that's pretty much a death sentence for bears. So when you're camping, you never want to leave your food out or attract any sort of wildlife, especially bears. And we try to kind of make their life as enjoyable in captivity as we can. They get toys, and California Pools was just here and donated that pool. That just got built a week ago.
Wow.
So out of the kindness of their hearts, they built that completely as a donation.
And who's this coming?
Grizz is coming over, and he's a black bear even though his name is Grizz. But and they look a little funny this time of year because they're shedding, so he's actually going to be a darker color in the summer, and he's shedding out his lighter brown coat. Here comes the female. There's Tahoe coming up in the back.
Wow. She's beautiful.
You can tell she looks a lot different, so black bears can come in a variety of colors. And again, these are all 3 that you can adopt. You can adopt Grizz, you can adopt a Gasho, and help pay for their food and their peanut butter.
I am personally calling on all my actor friends. This place needs help. They need peanut butter, and they need a lot of it. Those bears are not tiny creatures. I ask you to please help me donate a jar of peanut butter. You can contact me by email or Facebook. You know how to reach me. I'm gonna come and get your peanut butter. So how do the coyotes end up here? Because coyotes, people usually don't want to get near them.
Yeah, there's this hatred of coyotes, it seems, amongst a lot of people, but you know, I adore coyotes. But both of these guys came from separate families that found them, again, as orphans. It's the same story over and over again. Well, hello, Evita.
So if someone finds a coyote as a baby and that takes away all of their aggressive behavior?
Well, they try and domesticate it, and people think you can domesticate a wild animal just if you cuddle it and feed it, and it's never going to happen. It will lose its fear of people, but it's going to be a wild animal and still have its instincts. And eventually there's going to come a time where it shows those instincts, and the people are always surprised. Like, I've raised this tiger since it was a baby. Why did it attack me? It's a tiger. You can't take that out of them. People, it's the same with coyotes and bobcats. So you can see she wags her tail. She's over here wanting me to feed her. She's still a wild animal. She's not a pet dog. I adore porcupines. They're one of my favorite animals. I mean,
is this a male and that's a female?
This is a male. His name is Pinion. This is Acorn, and he's an old guy. He's starting to kind of grow these warts on his nose.
I was going to ask you what those
there's
were.
nothing that. Oh, you can tell they're really gentle unless you provoke them, or if you're a wild animal and try to eat them. Of course, they're gonna whack you with their tail and drive the quills into you, and you can kind of see some of the quills. You don't want an apple? They're holding out for a banana. That's their favorite, but there weren't any bananas today. They're from the higher elevation, so you're not really going to find porcupines down here in the desert. So they have about 30,000 quills all over their body and pretty good defense mechanism.
So it stands up on their back and it just shoots out?
No, they don't shoot or throw their quills. They'll actually take their tail and they'll smack the animal with it and drive the quills into their face, and that way they can waddle away and escape being eaten. Come here.
Beautiful.
Come here, Coda. She's about 16 years old. And obviously an Arctic wolf is not supposed to be here in the desert, but someone had her as a pet. Again, the same story, illegally.
She is gorgeous.
And she's been with us almost her entire life. So at 16 years old, she's lived in the desert here for most of her life. And she did lose her mate last year. She lived with a timber wolf who got sick and passed away, unfortunately. And now she's just too old to introduce her to another wolf.
So she'll live her life out here.
Yeah, and I mean, if she were in the wild, you know, they may live 6-7 years, but in captivity, obviously, with getting food every day and medical care, not having to worry about other animals hurting them, they can live nice, long lives.
We have covered so much on this show. We'd like to bring you some more on our next showing about the Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back.
The first Pet Planet store opened in 1996 after the devastating loss of our Cocker Spaniel to cancer. What we learned then about pet health was eye-opening. The food and the treats that we were giving him did not support his immune system and may have actually harmed him. Pet Planet was established to be a community resource, a store that offers only the healthiest products and the best knowledge on pet health issues. At Pet Planet, there is nothing more important to us than your pet's health.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of my heart and I tell the women in my life to do the same.
Sounds great, by the way.
That's nice, sweetie, but that's not my heart. That is. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Welcome back to the Animal Rescuers, adopted by Pet Planet. Willie is an 18-month-old lab shepherd mix, with maybe a little Shar-Pei in there as well. He was found tied to a rope in a landfill down in the south side of town. A man went in and got him out, took him home, got him cleaned up and vaccinated, but because he already had 3 dogs, he was unable to keep him, so he came to us. He's a sweet boy who loves all people and gets along well with other dogs. In playtime situations, he's the submissive one. He likes to go on walks, loves raw hides and belly rubs. He would make a great fit in just about any family situation.
Hi, I'm Wendi from Villa Paws with this week's training tip. This week's training tip is we're going to talk a little bit about the first steps of getting your dog to heel, not necessarily heel, but to walk on a loose leash. And my little helper dog today is going to be Baby. Baby is an 8-month-old Belgian sheepdog. She came to me today. We're working on a little bit of crate training for her, but she also this is gonna be our first experience with learning how to walk on a loose leash, because she tends to drag mom and dad around when she walks on leash. So my first step when I first start teaching a dog how to heel is we have to kind of slow everything down for the dog. And dogs very much are destination oriented. So if I'm facing this way, she wants to go ahead of me in this direction. And if I continue following behind her, she thinks that that's acceptable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away her destination. So if I'm facing this way and she wants to go ahead this way, I'm going to change directions 180 degrees and go the other way, and she's gonna turn and she's gonna come with me because she doesn't really have a choice about it. And when she gets up to me, I'm going to mark that moment. She comes into, let's say, into position. I'm gonna mark that moment. And what she's gonna do is she's gonna pass by me again, and I'm gonna change directions. When I change directions, I'm going to be changing directions away from her. So traditional heel position is on your left side. So I'm gonna start walking her on the left side. If there are people out there who walk dogs on the right side, she can also walk on the right side if need be, but I'm just always going to make sure my directional changes are away from her. Okay, come on, baby, come on. Good girl, ready? Okay, so we're gonna start out, see already she's out ahead of me, and I'm just gonna change directions and go the other way. Come on, good girl, very nice, good. She gets out ahead of me, and I'm gonna change directions and go the other way. Good girl. And she stays there, I'm gonna change directions and go the other way. Good. Good girl. Yay, good. Every time she turns and looks at me, yes, good girl. I'm gonna mark that moment and I'm gonna praise her. So this isn't about correction. This is good girl. This is just about getting the dogs to walk with us. Good. So see how she kind of stepped right with me that time? As long as she's staying with me, I'm going to continue my forward motion. If she doesn't stay with me and she goes out ahead of me, I'm gonna change direction. I'm gonna go the other way. Good girl. Good. Very nice. I praised her when she looked at me. Very good. That's a good girl. She's out ahead. I changed directions. Good girl. So basically, I don't want to have a destination. I don't want to go to up the street, go to the corner, make a left. I'm basically going to just surprise her. And all I want her to do is to follow me when I go. Stay tuned to the Animal Rescuers for next week's tip from Paws.
Do you trust the food you feed? At Pet Planet, our commitment is to helping our customers navigate through the confusing world of pet food, reading ingredient panels, asking critical questions about manufacturing and ingredient quality. Our pets rely on us to make the very best decisions we can for their health, happiness, and longevity. Pet Planet is here as your partner in pet health, because there's nothing more important to us than your pet's health.
Honey! I'm okay.
Hi, I'm Jen, and this is your Pet Planet Pet Tip of the Week. This week, we're going to focus on water safety. Whether you're taking your dog paddling in a canoe or out boating on the lake, please make sure you consider wearing a life jacket. Don't assume that your dog can swim, and in fact, even if your dog can swim, a lot of dogs are not strong swimmers. Consider this: if your pet were to fall overboard, would they have enough endurance and strength to avoid exhaustion or even hypothermia if they fall into very cold water? Fast currents can be stronger than his strength to outswim them. The distance to the shore may be further than he can swim. He may become disoriented and actually not even swim towards shore. A dog jumps from or is thrown from a boat at high speeds can be injured when they impact the water. There are many different types of life jackets on the market today. Canine Friendly is probably Pet Planet's favorite. Reason being, they are a bright orange color, so they're easily seen in the water. This life jacket has adjustable clips at both the neck and the chest to make an easy fit for your pet. They also have a comfort grip off the top, so if you're having to reach into the water to grab you and lift your dog out of the water, it makes it a lot easier on you. You can also use these as a temporary harness when you're going from the car to the boat. There's a D-ring clip here for leash attachment. If your home has a pool in the backyard, this too poses very serious potential safety risks. Pool safety for pets is as synonymous as it is for children, and it goes far beyond just careful supervision. With pets and children, you should never assume that you can watch them all the time. It only takes a few seconds of distraction for either one to fly out the door and into the pool. Here are just a few of the issues you should consider. Dogs are just as much at risk for pool accidents as children are. Not all dogs have the ability to swim. Certain breeds, as well as handicapped and older pets, may have special difficulties. Keep the pool area fenced and secure. Purchase pet pool safety products that can help your pets get safely out of the water. These could include things such as ramps, again life jackets, and pool alarms. Pools are not the only danger. Ponds and hot tubs can also have the same fatal effects. Most importantly, never leave your pets unsupervised near open water, as accidents, they can happen in just a split second. One final consideration is after swimming pet care. Dogs that swim a lot are prone to what's called swimmer's ear, which is an infection that occurs when you leave the ears wet after swimming. The prevention is simple. After your dog goes for a swim, be sure to clean their ears thoroughly using an ear cleaner that's specifically designed for pets, and then make sure that you dry them thoroughly. Stay tuned next week for another Pet Planet Pet Tip. More of the Animal Rescuers coming right up.
Come here.
I love you, Dad.
Welcome back to the Animal Rescuers, adopted by Pet Planet.
This week's tour starts out with a piggy poo pageant at Villa La Paz. Dozens of the cutest furry guinea pigs showed up. Pigs of all varieties were there. Lots of fundraising items up for auction and very cute events marked a fantastic day for the pigs and their human companions. The University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale was the site of the annual Arizona Pet Expo. Vendors galore, rescue groups, and gobs of animals roamed the field level. There were amazing feats of agility and talent on display, and the turnout was awesome. What an amazing day it's been here at the Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center. It is definitely worth a short trip. This is Kimber reminding you, adopt, donate, volunteer, spay and neuter, and you can be an animal rescuer too. We will see you next time.